Hi, I'm Kesten Rono, and today is day 152 of A Course in Miracles. All things are echoes of the voice for God. Reviewing Principle 12. Miracles are thoughts. Thoughts can represent the lower or bodily level of experience, or the higher or spiritual level of experience. One makes the physical, and the other creates the spiritual. Miracles are thoughts. Thoughts can represent the lower or bodily level of experience, or the higher or spiritual level of experience. One makes the physical, and the other creates the spiritual. May it simply be true that there are two ways of you being. One is to identify with your physical body, and one is to identify with your infinite mind. I think both are great. And we welcome the idea that the body is this learning device, and it's the mind that's doing the learning. To keep our minds fixated in a single point in time within our body is to argue against what the mind is. Forever youthful, whatever it is to perceive. And there's a sense of calm that exists beyond what the body is and the cycles of the physical, their inevitable death. From the mind's perspective, this is totally okay. And it adds a sense of peace to the body. We know that stress alone can kill. And all stress, however we define it, flows into the same bucket of the body. So, to stress our mind and add that stress to whatever the body is attempting to regulate on its own, feels like dis-ease in itself, that we're not allowing a full spectrum of thought to exist, where we explore what it is to be physical and how this obviously allows us a different experience than we may discover whatever it is to be spiritual. We might insist that it's one. I'm physical, I'm here, I knock on everything. It's real. There's just no denying that. And if you do, we've closed the door to the spiritual. But we know that we are something, that it is something to be like whatever it is that we are. And when we started this course, our ability to perceive, our consciousness, our noticing, was no younger than we are now. We're not older now from this level of perception than we were when we started the course. Perhaps you feel that you've been opening yourself to some ideas and you've tried living them even. Do you feel more ease and permission to notice peace and to share love as you've tried on some of these ideas? Let it be so that there is an ability to focus in on the physical with our thoughts, or to focus in on the spiritual. And let it be so that they are completely different. And that's wonderful. An instant's space away from timelessness. It is impossible to see two worlds. Miracles are thoughts. So be it. Lesson 152. The power of decision is my own. I hear the echo of heaven is the decision I must make. Please repeat after me. The power of decision is my own. The power of decision is my own. Your power of decision is your own. No one can suffer loss unless it be his own decision. No one suffers pain except his choice elects this state for him. Miracles are thoughts. No one can grieve, nor fear, nor think him sick unless these are the outcomes that he wants. And no one dies without his own consent. Nothing occurs but represents your wish, and nothing is omitted that you choose. Here is your world, complete in all details. Here is its whole reality for you. And it is only here salvation is. We can choose to die. We only die if we choose to. I believe this is saying something like, if we cannot see our minds, we cannot perceive thought of the spiritual, then we exist only in the physical. And of course you have the ability to notice your spiritual mind and to see yourself identified here rather than physical. And to choose to stay physical, then the only out is death. Therefore, you choose death, or you choose life. You choose darkness and an illusion, or you choose that which outlives it. It simply is. And from this perspective, you persist. From the body's perspective, it is possible to always end up in a position of defense and pretending that you know how to plan for the future, which you can't see. You don't want to repeat from the time before, but you desperately recreate a past situation to try to prepare for a new future. It's insanity. Here, its whole reality for you. Here is its whole reality for you. And it is only here salvation is. And salvation exists in the world where you get to make the choices. But choosing salvation is the cure for this dis-ease that ends in death. By being in the realm that requires salvation and forgiveness, salvation exists. And it's always there. It's just not needed. As we step through this idea of logic here, it's not needed in the realm post-salvation, post-atonement, post-forgiveness for yourself. Allowing the idea of innocence to be restored and this sinful condemnation, shameful, and all the upsets and attacks associated with it. This is just an idea of the past. A complete illusion, never here and now. May we see our salvation. The power of decision is my own. You may believe that this position is extreme and too inclusive to be true. Yet, can truth have exceptions? If you have the gift of everything, can loss be real? Can pain be part of peace or grief of joy? Can fear and sickness enter in a mind where love and perfect holiness abide? Truth must be all-inclusive if it is to be the truth at all. Truth must be all-inclusive if it is to be the truth at all. Accept no opposites and no exceptions, for to do so is to contradict the truth entirely. Yes, if you have ever felt the truth offering you relief because it is the truth, immediately nullifying any other story that could have been antithetical to that truth. If you accept the truth, and you can anchor yourself in the truth, that this is your idea of what heaven and God is. This is where safety and peace is, because you know something absolutely, and it requires no additional energy. It simply is the truth. If you appreciate this idea, accept no opposites and no exceptions, for to do so is to contradict the truth entirely. Salvation is the recognition that the truth is true and nothing else is true. Could there be a truer statement? The truth is true and nothing else is true. This is what salvation is. This you have heard before, but may not yet accept both parts of it. Without the first, the second has no meaning. Salvation is the recognition that the truth is true, and nothing else is true. So without the truth being true, then nothing else is true, does not have meaning. The truth must be true for everything else not to be true, I believe the book is saying. Without the first, the second has no meaning, but without the second, the first is no longer true. That is, the truth is true, and nothing else is true. If we know the truth is true, that's great. Well, if nothing else is true, is ambiguous, that could mean that other things could also be true. But no, the truth is true, which allows us to say that nothing else is true. And by saying nothing else is true, we identify as the truth only being the truth. Nothing but the truth is true, and what is false is false. This is the simplest of distinctions, yet the most obscure, but not because it is a difficult distinction to perceive. It is concealed behind a vast array of choices that do not appear to be entirely your own, and thus the truth appears to have some aspects that belie consistency, but do not seem to be but contradictions introduced by you. One problem, one solution. If there is one truth, that means that there are infinite other ideas that are not the truth. Don't trick yourself. Do believe yourself in your nowness, your here and now, whatever that idea is that is quote unquote speaking to you here and now, as you can settle in and make peace without fear. Accept the truth of your excitement. As God created you, you must remain unchangeable, with transitory states by definition false. If God is infinite and you are infinite, and therefore your perception and what you are is constant, then whatever it is that you are experiencing physically is not your truest perception, your highest perception. If you are to be constant, you must be constant. So you are unchangeable. As God created you, you must remain unchangeable, with transitory states by definition false. And that includes all shifts in feeling, alterations in conditions of the body and the mind, in all awareness and in all response. This is the all-inclusiveness which sets the truth apart from falsehood, and the false kept separate from the truth as what it is. Yes, you must be constant in every single way, all-inclusive, because only the truth is true, and nothing else is true. Is it not strange that you believe to think you made the world you see is arrogance? God made it not. Of this you can be sure. What can he know of the ephemeral, the sinful and the guilty, the afraid, the suffering and lonely, and the mind that lives within a body that must die? You but accuse him of insanity. To think he made a world where such things seem to have reality, he is not mad. Yet only madness makes a world like this. This may be a very deep concept for you to consider. If God is constant, and God is love, and God is truth, however you want to call God, if this is the light in which you are created, and if you choose to believe that you were created in the truest sense, the most loving sense, then the death and destruction and dis-ease that you see in the world is your own. It's your own learning device for you to see your own insanity, trying to believe that your infinite mind is inside of a finite body. It's just hell. And it's not the truth. It cannot be the truth. The truth must be all-inclusive. And by the idea that you are not aging in time, that you can dream all across space, it is simply not true that you are in one place in life at one moment at a time. Your body is. Your mind is not. So to believe that you are what you are physically, especially only, is to be in hell. And it would not be the truth. Therefore, it is not created by the truth and whatever love is in all of its patience, being constant. This world and these things are made by us. The book is suggesting, at least in our finiteness. One way I've related to it is you exist as you physically by the love and creation, inexplicable. Well, no one's really driving you to be created physically, but the love and creation of your mother and your father. This is your physical you. But mom and dad did not create conscious you. To think that God made chaos contradicts his will, invented opposites to truth, and suffers death to triumph over life. All this is arrogance. Humility would see at once that these things are not of him. And can you see what God created not? How would you even perceive what God didn't create? To think you can is merely to believe you can perceive what God willed not to be. And what could be more arrogant than this? Okay. It may be easy to say that God created the trees and God created death. Where is God now when we see a tragedy as we see it? If God is love and God creates in love, for us to see dis-ease, fear, and death, and to say that God must do this, is to miss the whole point when we ask the question of where is God in this? God is not in this. This is our story. And if your mind was full of peace and alignment with God, so would the world be. As all minds could be connected to the same idea, there would just be peace, creating peace, of course. That when we are attacking and expecting we'll find peace, or defending something with a fear-based idea and expecting we will find peace, how could we find anything other than something that includes fear? And something that is not finite, because we believe it could be destroyed. It is arrogant to imagine that those things that do not exist in love exist at all. And when the line in here says something of, can you see what God created not? What is it saying? No, true vision must only see in its spiritual plane what God has created in truth. True vision must see the truth. So if you are recognizing yourself in the highest form that you may, as your conscious self, you cannot truly believe that all of the physical things that you see that are finite, which are not what you are of, which are not in perfect peace and perfect safety, in this idea of heaven, the decision you must make, you cannot believe that these physical things are actually real. You're not perceiving anything that God is. If you believe that you're seeing these things, that's the image making we're doing, and we're thinking, I see this image, so God must have created it. This is to miss what we are entirely. Of course, we cannot see in the true vision sense that which is not created in truth. We can only see our own story. And all of your upsets hide in your own story. Absolutely. You cannot sit here with me and tell me that your upsets are a story that God created for you. Only your peace is. Let us today be truly humble and accept what we have made as what it is. The power of decision is our own. Decide but to accept your rightful place as co-creator of the universe, the mind creating, not the body. And all you think you made will disappear. What rises to awareness then will be all that there ever was, eternally as it is now, and it will take the place of self-deception made but to usurp the altar to the Father and to the Son. Today we practice true humility, abandoning the false pretense by which the ego seeks to prove it arrogant. Only the ego can be arrogant. Only the ego can be arrogant. What an easy sentence to accept. When we call someone as appealing to their ego or egotistical, they are arrogant. But truth is humble in acknowledging its mightiness, its changelessness, and its eternal wholeness, all encompassing God's perfect gift to his beloved Son. We lay aside the arrogance which says that we are sinners, guilty and afraid, ashamed of what we are, and lift our hearts in true humility instead to him who has created us immaculate, like to himself in power and in love. What a gift. What a gift to see God, your creator, as whatever it is that you are perceiving as this loving, whole being, offering everything that it is to you. Why imagine that whatever it is to be you need be less than this? May you accept truth in fullness. The power of decision is our own, and we accept of him that which we are, and humbly recognize the Son of God. To recognize God's Son implies as well that all self-concepts have been laid aside and recognized as false. Okay, to recognize yourself as the Son of God, yes, it's possible to recognize yourself as the Son of God in humility rather than arrogance. This implies as well that all self-concepts have been laid aside and recognized as false. Their arrogance has been perceived, and in humility the radiance of God's Son, his gentleness, his perfect sinlessness, his Father's love, his right to heaven and release from hell are joyously accepted as our own. Their arrogance has been perceived, and in humility the radiance of God's Son is joyously accepted as our own. Now do we join in glad acknowledgement that lies are false, and only the truth is true. Yes, of course, lies are false, and only the truth is true. May it settle within you. The simplicity of the truth, the ease of the truth, and the dis-ease of filtering through the infinite other ideas that are not the truth, insisting that they must be, rather than hearing the simple echo of the truth. We think of truth alone as we arise, and spend 5 minutes practicing its ways, encouraging our frightened minds with this: the power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. This is our statement upon rising, likely sleeping, and likely every hour that we can remember. Please repeat after me. The power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. The power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. The power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. Then we will wait in silence, giving up all self-deceptions, as we humbly ask ourself, capital S, that he reveal himself to us. And he who never left will come again to our awareness, grateful to restore his home to God as it was meant to be. In patience, wait for him throughout the day, and hourly invite him with the words with which the day began, concluding it with the same invitation to yourself. This invitation is to give up all self-deceptions and humbly ask ourselves that he reveal himself to us. God's voice will answer, for he speaks for you and for your Father. He will substitute the peace of God for all your frantic thoughts, the truth of God for self-deceptions, and God's Son for your illusions of yourself. The power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. I am Kesten Rono. The power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as my Father's will created me to be. May you see the power of decision being your own, and heaven being the decision you must make. Please be well.